Good evening. Hello. I'm here to go live for Tools Tuesday again. I want to talk about cocktail accoutrement, and so I thought it'd be good to be able to show you which different tools I'm talking about it while I'm talking. So that's why I'm here now, and I will get into this cocktail thing. So I'm going to go over what I've got here, and then we'll talk about each thing individually. This is a cocktail shaker, 2 pieces, put them together, shake your drink. Makes a lot more noise when there's ice and booze in there. This is a jigger for measuring your ingredients. This side is generally, it's different with different jiggers, but most of them, this side is 2 ounces, this side is 1 ounces. A lot of them will have a line inside here that marks 1.5 ounces, but not all of them. Once you've done it a few times, you learn to eyeball that. We have the strainer here, and this works on your cocktail shaker when you're done shaking it to strain the drink out from the ice and whatever else you might have in there, because lots of other things can go in there to make a tasty drink. This is a cocktail spoon, stirring spoon. It's got this cool shape for optimal stirring, and then this is a mixing glass for doing stirred cocktails, and I'll get into that a little bit, why you would stir versus shake a cocktail, and what the differences would be in that process. So first we'll talk about the jigger, because that's where you're going to start when you're making a drink. Don't mind the kids screaming in the background. We've got a new puppy. They don't always play well together. Everything is fine. Anyway, this is the jigger. Like I said, we've got 2 ounces on this side, 1 ounce on this side. I make a 2 ounce drink usually, so I'm going to put 2 ounces of liquor in my drink. Sometimes I use more than one, and I'll use 1.5 of one liquor and 1/2 ounce of the other, or 1 to 1. A lot of times if I'm doing a citrus juice, I would use like 1.5 to 2 ounces, because I like a lot of citrus. Some people might say just 1 ounce. With simple syrup, sweeteners, agave, whatever, I usually use 3/4 to 1 ounce. I do not like a super sweet drink. And 1 ounce puts it at a pretty sweet place. So, you know, depending on your taste, whatever, use as much as you want. You can experiment. Once you get the basics of the measurements and ratios for a cocktail down, you can make a cocktail with almost anything that you want to add for flavor. And then we'll talk about the shaker. You're going to put ice in here with whatever you're shaking. Measure your ingredients into one side. I usually measure my ingredients into the tall side. Then I fill the short side almost all the way with ice. And then I just tip it in, smack it down, and give it a good long shake. Now, when I'm shaking a drink, I shake it for a while. I shake it. I shake it pretty hard. This is also part of why I have the difference between shaking and stirring a drink. When you shake a drink like this for a long time, really hard, busting that ice up until your shaker gets all frosty and there's like actually a coat of hard frost on the outside of your shaker. You're going to get a really nice cold drink. You're going to get the proper amount of dilution that way. And you're going to get these little bitty ice crystals in your drink because you shake it hard enough to break that ice into some tiny little chips. Not all of it, obviously, but there's still some big cubes in there. But you're going to get some tiny little chips that are going to slowly melt while you're drinking your cocktail. And that's going to affect the way the drink goes as you're drinking it, and you get that texture. I mean, sometimes I just love like a daiquiri when you get that little bit of crunchy ice in the first couple sips. I love that personally. So after shaking, you can grab your mixer, put your cocktail. You're going to want to, you put it on, and then it's got this spring, and you kind of push it forward until the lip comes over. And then you've got this little hole here just kind of lined up, and you pour it right into your glass. And then that would be the same thing if you wanted to use it with your stirring glass. This mixer is also good for that. I didn't bring my muddler up to my office, but a muddler is like usually like a wooden, kind of like a hammer. It doesn't have a hammer shaped top. It's just a flat wooden pounder thing that you can use. So you could put mint, lemons, cranberries, whatever. You can put all kinds of stuff in there, cucumbers, muddle it down with your muddler before you shake your cocktail, and that's going to really pump a lot of flavor into your drink. So that's one of my favorite things to do. Mint and cucumber are two of my top favorites for that. Now with the mixing glass, you're going to use that for cocktails, generally cocktails without any kind of citrus juice or anything, any kind of juice in them. Maybe, you know, because there's other things like pineapple. I love using pineapple juice in my cocktails. I am a sucker for tiki, tropical, all that kind of stuff. I love tiki cocktails. Pina coladas are one of my favorites. So when you're making like a martini, Negroni, Manhattan, it's nice to stir it. You're not going to end up with those ice crystals that way. Your drink will either be served up and it will maintain its full strength for the entire time that you're drinking it, or you'll serve it on the rocks on a bigger ice cube that will melt more slowly. And that's going to, again, affect the way that your cocktail drinks over time. A cocktail is really a kind of a journey. It's going to taste different as it warms up, as the ice melts, as it dilutes. So you can really get into that, get into depth with your cocktails and make them complex and make them a journey. So when you're stirring a cocktail, I would put about the same amount of ice in here, kind of up to this line. And then I would measure my ingredients first. I like to do the ingredients first, just so if you mess it up, you're not wasting ice. I don't know. Maybe you don't have an ice shortage, but working in bars, I worked in a bar where I had to run up 2 flights of stairs to get ice for the bar. And so I was very careful about not wasting ice. So you put your ice in with your drink, like a Negroni would be 1 part each Campari, gin, and sweet vermouth. So I would do 1, 1, and 1 ounce. Dump each of them in, add the ice, and then you get your little stirrer, and you just stir it around. Again, you're going to kind of judge it by the outside of the glass. You want that, the outside of this mixing glass to be, and you can just use like a quart jar or a pint jar for this, preferably wide mouth, so it's easier to pour it out. You don't have to have a fancy mixing glass. You can do this in just any old glass, really. You stir it until the outside of your glass is really nice and cold. Again, you want to get that condensation, maybe even a little frost on there. And then you can either, you know, if your ice cubes are nice and big, you can kind of use your spoon, your mixing spoon, to hold the ice back while you pour it. Or again, and this is easier and you can be lazier about it, you don't have to be as careful. You can just use this strainer again, and it holds the ice back. You pour it into your glass, either served up, which is just straight without any ice, or on the rocks would be over a cube or 2, preferably something larger with more surface area that's going to melt a little more slowly. And then you would go to garnishing. I also didn't bring up anything that I have for like creating garnishes, but you can get tools that create the like little skinny peel twists from citrus, or you can just use a vegetable peeler and do a wider twist. You want to try and get as little of the pith of a citrus fruit, which is the white part under the peel. You want to get as little of that as possible, but a little bit won't matter. And then you just kind of twist and squeeze it, and you'll see, if you do it in the light, you can see the oils from the citrus peel actually spurt out and they land all over the top of your drink. They give this amazing aroma, and just really, a garnish isn't necessary, but it really does make a drink sometimes, like especially a Negroni or a Manhattan with that pop of orange oil on top. It really brings the drink up a level. And so those are all my bar tools, and I will be doing a masterclass. I'm thinking February, I'll be doing a cocktails masterclass. So I'll come on, it'll be a planned event. You'll get lots of notifications, and I will go over cocktails in detail. I will give you a couple recipes for some classics. I will answer any questions you have, and we'll talk all about cocktails. And if you don't drink alcohol, that's okay too, because you can make mocktails, as they like to say, with these same tools. Like, if you want to make a mocktail that's really going to give that feeling that you get from drinking a cocktail, you're going to want these same tools. You put juices and maybe a little vinegar, some other flavoring aspects in here. Again, muddle fresh fruit or cucumber, mint, all kinds of herbs, hot peppers, you know, and then add a little bit of juice, a little bit of sugar, and some ice, and you shake it up and you pour it off, and you're going to get that texture, that foaminess, that you're going to get that effect of the cocktail more so than if you just kind of pour it in a glass and mix it, or pour it in a pitcher and mix it. You're going to get that cocktail effect by shaking it or by stirring it. And that is my Cocktail Tools Tuesday. So I hope you guys liked it, and I will be around, and have a good night. And now I have to figure out how to end